we're going to dive deep into one of the biggest headaches for anyone who owns a chainsaw, a strimmer, hedge cutter, or any other two-stroke tool for that matter. That is that age-old thing of carburetor failure. Most people who own a two-stroke know this. So now I'm going to walk you through some of the most common causes, in my own humble opinion. So by the end of this video, you'll not only know why carbs fail, but you'll also know some symptoms to look out for and some fixes you can try. Welcome to the Repair Specialist channel, because knowledge is power. So let's get to it. Okay, so my number one, old or stale fuel. I'm sure you've heard it many times before, but that's for good reason. In my opinion, the number one killer of small engine carburetors is old petrol gasoline, especially with today's E10 fuels, which only last around 30 to 60 days before they start going off. The ethanol in these fuels attracts water, and when that separates, it corrodes and clogs the carb. There's also volatile elements within the fuel, and when these evaporate, they leave behind a varnish or gum that can clog the fuelways and jets. So if you're going to leave fuel in your tools for a month or more, this is usually why they won't start. And this now leads me on to my number two, as I've just mentioned, blocked jets and fuelways. These little fuelways and jets, as you could imagine in these two-strokes, are absolutely tiny. It doesn't take much varnish or gum at all to block these. And when that happens, you will see things like bogging when you hit the throttle, or the engine will only run with the choke on. So the remedy for this is a good ultrasonic clean or a carb rebuild, and compressed air blown through the jets. Obviously we need to strip the carburetor down first, but this does usually cure the problem. Okay, so now on to my number three, and that is hardened diaphragms. You see, these small carbs use rubber type diaphragms to pump and meter the fuel. But over time, especially with ethanol fuels, that rubber goes stiff and brittle. And once these diaphragms stop flexing properly, the carb won't deliver the right amount of fuel to the engine. So classic symptoms of this are surging, the engine will only run with the choke on, or it won't start at all, or just have starting issues, and the engine might bog. So in this case, a rebuild kit with fresh diaphragms usually sorts the issue out. And now for number four, and that is a worn metering needle and seat. The tiny metering needle that controls the fuel has a rubber tip, and that wears into a groove over time. When this happens, the needle just can't seal properly, so the carb can flood. If this is the case, you'll probably notice a wet spark plug, or the machine will only run for a few seconds then cut out. So replacing the needle and or the seat, which you usually find in a service kit for your type of carburetor, will fix this issue if this is the case. And now for number five, the metering lever incorrectly adjusted. So even if the diaphragms and the needle and seat are fine, if the metering lever is set too high, there'll be an increased fuel delivery through the carb, which can cause the engine to flood. If it's set too low, then the engine's starved of fuel and it will bog. That's if it starts at all. And the thing is, it only takes a fraction of a millimetre to make the difference between running perfectly and not running at all. So it's essential to set the lever correctly. Generally, this lever should be in line with the top of the carburetor body. And we can test that by getting a screwdriver from one side to the other and making sure that the top of the lever is at the same level. But there are other types of small two-stroke carburetors like this one that do have a different setup in the metering chamber. And you can see the metering lever on the lower level. In this case, the back of the metering lever needs to be level with the base of the bottom of the metering chamber. So if we do remove the metering cap and the metering diaphragm and see that the lever is too high, then we can simply reset it by pushing down on the front here, holding it there, and then pushing down on the back to rebend that lever. And if you find you've pushed it down too low, you can always put the screwdriver in at the back here and lever it back up slightly. So now moving on to my number six, and that is air leaks around the carb or intake area. Sometimes we'll get these bogged down and starting issues and we think it's the carb, but it's sometimes not the carb. Sometimes it's the gaskets or the intake boot around the carb. If there's an air leak in these areas, the mixture goes lean. And that can lead to surging, hunting revs, bogging, or in the worst case, it can cause engine seizures because you've got little fuel going into the engine and little accompanying lubricating oil. So it's always best to check where the carb mounts and check the gaskets around that area when you're diagnosing lean running issues. Okay, so now on to my number 7, and that is the primer bulb or the purge bulb failures. So those little primer bulbs, they are handy. A few pushes and you'll prime the carburetor fantastically. But if they're cracked or the one-way valves inside them fail, the fuel won't flow through the carburetor properly. And you'll pull and pull and pull on the starter rope and the engine just won't fire because the carb never got primed in the first place. So take a good look at the primer bulb. If there's a hole in it, then it needs to be replaced. In my experience, there's no way to fix these, just replace them. They're cheap enough and that'll get the job done. So now moving on to number 8, and that is fuel line degradation. The ethanol inside fuels is quite harsh on fuel lines, and over time they can swell, crack and go soft. And this can either let in air or restrict fuel flow. So if your machine runs fine for a while and then dies, or if you can see bubbles in the line, then this is likely the culprit. The only remedy for this, of course, is to change your fuel lines. So number 9, clogging under the Welsh plug. I had a carburetor once that I could not get right. I stripped it, blew it out, ultrasonically cleaned it several times, and I still couldn't get it to run properly. It wasn't until I removed the Welsh plug and it was all gummed up underneath. I cleaned underneath it and blew through the fuel ways, replaced the Welsh plug with a brand new one because that's what you have to do if you remove them, and the engine ran fine. So if you are having issues and you don't know what's wrong with your carb, you think you've tried everything, then it might be dirt build-up under your Welsh plug. Number 10 now, and that is a blocked or faulty fuel tank vent. A fuel tank has to breathe. If it doesn't, when fuel leaves the fuel tank to the engine, it builds up a vacuum inside the tank, and that sucks back at the fuel, preventing it from going through the carb efficiently, and therefore starving the engine of fuel. The classic signs for this is an engine that will run fine for a few minutes and then dies, and then if you leave it for a while, you can start it and it will run for a few minutes again. So always check the fuel tank vent. Clean it if it needs it and replace it if necessary. Okay, so number 11, and that is corrosion inside the carb body. Now I did touch on this a little bit earlier, but when water is pulled in by the ethanol in the fuel, it sits inside the carb body and can cause corrosion. Once those tiny vital passageways inside the carb are pitted and corroded, it becomes very hard to meter the correct amount of fuel needed for the engine. And so it's at that point when a replacement carb is necessary. This can be another one of those situations where you've tried everything with a carb. You've ultrasonically cleaned it perfectly. You've blew it out. You've done everything you think you need to do. You've replaced all different parts on it, but it still won't run. It could be this kind of damage inside, and so that's why a replacement is required. Right, so number 12 now, and that is the carburetor adjuster screw settings. So sometimes it's just a case that the settings are not correct on the carb, especially if someone's had a go at adjusting them and they've done it incorrectly. So if the screws are screwed too far in, then we can risk engine wear and seizures over time. If they're too far out, then the engine might smoke and foul the plug, and we might have bogging issues. So as an initial baseline, it's always best to screw both screws right in till they stop, and then one full turn out of each. Okay, so the final one I want to mention is cheap quality aftermarket carburetors. So some of these cheap replacements really do look the part, but they can have badly machined jets and fuelways. And of course there can be other issues like poor diaphragms and dodgy needle valves. And they can cause as many problems as the old carb that was causing you the problem in the first place. And so we can fit these new aftermarket carbs and the engine doesn't run any better, and we think it's something else wrong with the engine because we've put a new carb on it, and we think that's ruled something out. But it quite possibly hasn't. So in this sense, a genuine carb is the best option. Yes, there's a much greater cost involved, and you'd have to weigh up whether that cost is worth it for your particular machine you're working on, but it will most likely rule out these issues. Okay, so I'm sure that there are people out there that know far more reasons than I've mentioned. If you do, then please put it in the comments to help everybody else in the community. People, of course, don't just learn from what I say, they also learn from the comments that you provide below. But in closing then, if your saw or your strimmer is giving you trouble, the chances are it's one of those issues I've mentioned. And most likely either stale fuel, blocked jets, worn diaphragms, or incorrectly set adjuster screws. So can I ask, if this video did help, can you please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't done already? I want to thank you so much for watching,